everyone. Hi to all of our Teamwrkrs and to all of our new faces here. Today we're met with Kat Irwin, who is web designer out in Berlin. She's impossibly talented, and today she has very graciously offered to not only give us some really great tips and tricks on how to make sure that our audience is reading right to our audience, and to make sure, oh gosh, I don't know why I'm nervous. Because we're recording. We'll edit this in post. She's going to give us some great tips and tricks about our websites and our mini sites so that our website is reaching the right audience. There we go. That's a sentence. Well, I'm going to pass it over to Kat, and thank you so much for bringing your expertise here with us and for offering these free consultations for the Teamwrkr community.
100%. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. So today the presentation I'm going to do is called Design for Success. So as solopreneurs, freelancers, entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call it, a lot of people do DIY their own websites. And although in theory, it's very easy to go on a site like WordPress and create a site, what you actually put into the site is a bit more difficult. So today I'm going to go through some easy, actionable web design tips that you can apply to your website in order to reach your final goal. So first of all, in case you don't know me, my name's Kat. I'm a web designer. I've been a designer since around 2014, and I used to work more with mobile apps and in the fintech industry. And for the last year or so, I'm focusing more on small businesses helping entrepreneurs with their websites. And yeah, I'm based in Germany. So if you have any questions afterwards, you can write me on Slack or on Instagram at Kat Irwin Design. Okay. So to start with, I'm going to address one of the sort of biggest myths around web design or websites, which is your website needs to be beautiful. Now, this obviously it's good if your website looks good, but as someone who's maybe DIYing your own website, it shouldn't necessarily be your first focus. So it's more important to focus on the content and the goals of your website and making sure it is extremely clear and easy to use. So these are two things I'm going to focus on today. And the points that I'll go over are kind of common things that I see in a lot of DIY websites. So we're going to start with clear, making your website really clear to your users or your customers, sorry. So when your customers land on your website, these three questions are really what they want to know. So how can you help me? Why should I trust you? And how do I work with you? So when you're building your website, you kind of want everything to answer one of these three questions or a combination. So how do you make your website very clear? First of all, you need to get really clear yourself. So first step, decide on the goal for your website. For most freelancers or solopreneurs, that is getting more clients. But if you try to think a bit more specifically about what that actually means, like if you want them to sign up for your newsletter in order to get them that way, if you want them to book a call with you, if you want them to fill out a form, everything like this. So really decide on what the ultimate goal for your website is, and then everything on the website will aim towards this final goal. And of course, when maybe your business develops a little bit, you might have more than one goal, and that's okay, but try and just to start simple, start with one goal. So the next thing that you can do to get really clear is write your I help statement. Now, there's lots of variations of this statement, and it's kind of just to get clear on who your audience is, how you help them. So I help your audience who struggle with their main problem to achieve their desired outcome by your process. And so when you go and design your website, you want to keep this in mind. You might not actually use a specific sentence on your website, but it's a good kind of guide for yourself. So once you're really clear on everything, you want to start going in to design your website. So one of the most important parts is the hero section on your website. So this is what they first will see when they land on your website. Ideally, you want to kind of answer all of these three questions in that section. And you can do that with these 5 elements. So start off with the headline. The headline is this part, which is the first thing they're going to read. So it's kind of what you want to use to grab their attention. The best advice I can give is say something they want to hear. So that way you can connect with them and they know that you understand their problem already. So if we look at this example, she is a career coach that helps mums get back into work after they've had children. So the headline says, going back to work doesn't have to be stressful. So you can see already that she's identified her customer thinks it's going to be stressful going back to work and they want it to be easy. So already in the headline, you've connected with the customer, told them that you know how to fix their problem, basically. Then underneath, you want to add a description, which goes into a bit more detail about that. To make it easy, you can use the I help statement that you wrote above in a variation. Yeah. So call to action, it would be the button here, and that's the main thing that you want them to do. So if that's booking a call with you, maybe downloading a freebie, signing up to your newsletter, you want that to be in the top section. Photo, if you are a service provider or you are the main point of contact in your business, I would always suggest to add a photo of yourself. This creates an instant connection with your customers. They can see who you are. I guess they can kind of trust you a little bit more, maybe get some of your personality from the photo of you. So you're already creating that connection, creating that trust. Also, using a photo of yourself instead of a stock photo creates credibility on your website. So lots of people can create a website, put a bunch of stock photos on there. It doesn't really mean that it's a business. If you're putting a face to the business, this will make it more trustworthy. If you're not a service provider, and let's say for Teamwrkr, it's a business, you want to show something that represents the business part of it. Okay, and the last one here is social proof. So if you can, adding logos of companies that you've worked with, maybe if you've been featured in magazines, statistics, maybe how many clients you've worked with, how many happy clients you've worked with, stuff like that to show that you are actually a real business. So in the hero section, ideally, you want to have all of these 5. If you can't, do sort of a variation of them or just try and get as much as possible in there. Make sure it's exciting, make sure it kind of looks good, easy to read. So once your customer has read the hero section, if you've grabbed their attention, they're going to scroll down and see the rest of your website. So you want the rest of your website to be really well structured. So this is a kind of structure that you can use, which it's very simple. It applies to most businesses. So the hero section, you'll grab their attention. Introduction, you're defining their problem. So telling them that you know what their problem is, that you understand that. And when we get to, so I'm going to go through the presentation and then we'll do like the workshopping part, looking at the Teamwrkr website and also Darren's website. And this will be more clear when we get to that, but just keep it in mind. Okay, so you want to grab their attention, then define their problem. Then you can present your services. So that's your solution to their problem that you've defined here. And then a small introduction to you or your business. This shows them why you are the right person to solve that problem. Social proof, proof that you've actually done it before. So this could be testimonials, also statistics. If you've been featured in magazines, case studies, all of this sort of things, just to show that I'm not just saying these things, I've actually done it before. And then call to action. So how they can work with you. And that could be like a booking button, a sign up form, sign up for a newsletter, anything like this. Just what you want them to do in order to work with you. Okay, up until this point, do we have any questions before I move on? No, okay. So now that you've got your homepage all nicely structured with all the information there, you want to make your website really easy to use. So there's a lot of aspects to this. I'm going to focus on making your website easy to read for your customers. So the main aim of your website is to fulfill that goal that you defined at the beginning. So you want your customers to be able to read very easily your message so they can understand what you're selling. So you may have heard the saying, people don't read, they scan, which nowadays, I guess there's a lot of information on the internet. Lots of people aren't reading specifically every word on your website. They're going to scan it. If maybe then after they've scanned it, they're interested, they will read more in detail. But you want to be able to grab their attention when they're scanning. So assume everyone's very lazy and they don't want to read your website, and design for that. So the main thing that I see on DIY websites or small business websites is huge paragraphs like this one. And I understand why this happens, because you want to say all the good things about your business, say everything that you can do, all the experience you have, everything. Unfortunately, a block of text like this might not even get read by your customers. So you want to make the paragraphs more scannable. So in short, keeping it 3 to 5 sentences, using bullet points for lists, because it's more scannable, and then highlighting important words. All right, so it's small here. But yeah, so just to make paragraphs easier to read. The next point is using meaningful headings. So your message should be understood should be able to be understood by your customer without them reading any of the paragraphs. So these 4 headings are from the Career Coach website that I showed you previously. They're headings and they came with a paragraph, but if you read them on their own, so you stopped working to stay home with the kids, it was exactly what your family needed at the time. But how do you explain that gap in your resume? You want a job that fits your life. What you need is a coach in your corner. So you can see just these 4 headings. You understood what the message was. You understood the problem, what you then need to do. You need to hire a coach to fix your problem, basically. So then your customer might read the 4 headings and then they go back and read everything else in a bit more detail. So tell a story with your headings. And finally, just to make everything easier, use consistent font styles. So being consistent across your website, it's a very easy way to make it visually look a lot better, but also it's easier for people to read it. So if you're using a bunch of different font styles, a bunch of everything, it's slightly harder for your eyes to actually read what is there. Your eyes sort of have to think a little bit harder when there's multiple font styles. So use only 1 font style for heading and 1 for paragraphs, and keep all the sizes the same, more or less. I mean, once you get maybe a bit more comfortable with the design side of it, you can do something else, but to start with, just stick to very consistent. Okay, so now that you've made it all easy to use, once you've put everything together on your website, before you launch it, it's a good idea to go through everything and look at all of the text, all of the images, everything, and ask, why do they care? This is related to your customers. So if you look at an image and you say, why do they care about this? If it's not answering one of the questions, how do I work with you? Why should I trust you? Or how can you help me? Then you either need to rework it or remove it. So that's a good way to sort of audit your own website before you launch it. Just make sure everything is really supporting your main goal and telling your customers why they should work with you. Okay. Do you have any questions? That's the presentation part, and then we can move on to the workshopping websites. Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Just a moment. Okay, so we're going to start with the Teamwrkr website.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yes.
All right.
Good. So overall, the website's good. You've got a lot of good messaging in there that's speaking to your customers. What we're going to do is start from this slide. So get really clear. What is the main goal for the website? Phil, you can.
Oh, you're asking me? Oh,
you're on the spot now. Yeah.
The main goal for our website is to really have people come and join our Slack community. You know, we see our website as a way for people to get to know a little bit about us, but the message really is come and join the Slack community, because that's where all the action is. That's really our product today. You have to think about it. Mm-hmm. Is a community that you guys are in? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So join the Slack community.
Yeah.
Could you tell me off the top of your head what would be the I help statement? So Teamwrkr helps.
Yeah, Teamwrkr helps I'll call them freelancers, but there's a lot of different words,
Mm-hmm.
you know, solopreneurs who struggle with connection and support and education and finding opportunities. Those are 4 big pillars that are out there. So
Mm-hmm.
just getting connected because maybe they're remote. They need support in what they're doing because like this, you know, workshops, things like that. And they want to learn. And then ultimately they want to succeed by finding accounts and, you know, paid work. So that's what that's the problem. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So then if we go to the hero section, so you've got the heading, the description. I know you have the button here, but you should probably make it stand out. So put it in a different color. I don't know. I can only see it when I hover over it.
Oh,
so
that's
it's not
weird.
super
Okay.
obvious. Yeah.
Well, that's not obvious at all. It's like hidden. Whoa, better
You have to put your mouse.
No wonder we're not getting people
there.
to join our community. They can't see the button. Okay, I'll check that.
Yeah.
Wow, that was easy, huh, Kat? Look at that cat. She's so good. All right. Tell
That'll be $100.
Your button is transparent on the website. Got it. Okay.
Okay, so then if we go to the headline and the description, I would suggest maybe that these could actually swap places. What you're saying here, because we need each other more than we need a manager, is more the statement that it's going to connect with the freelancers. So also I saw these 2 sentences which could also work, like we're the community that grows with you, or work independently, not alone. So this heading, I guess you want to talk more about like the feeling that a freelancer has being alone or the lack of connection. And then in the description, you can say like, you know, we're a peer-to-peer community for freelancers and we help you, blah, 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 something like that. So more, I guess, emotional and then a bit more logical, if that's the right
Got
word.
it. So lead with that emotional, lead with that emotional connection and then say, okay, now that you found, I have that issue, I have that emotional connection, then you say, here's the solution, right?
Exactly.
And then the call to action is click that transparent button.
Yeah.
Just smart enough to find
out. And okay, so with the social proof part of it, it might not be ideal to put like logos or anything like that, but you could put statistics here, like, oh, we already have 300 people join or however many, like we've hosted 50 workshops, this amount of people have made connections, something like that, just to showing like how it's growing, because even it's a good thing to show that, okay, you're starting off community, maybe there's not so many people there, but like we're growing. Yeah. Great. Okay, and then going down, you want to follow a structure. So you kind of have it with these 2 paragraphs here, but I think you could get a little bit more defined. So when, first of all, the introduction is defining the problem. This sentence, to me, it sounds a bit more like you're targeting the kind of advertising to people to become a freelancer. Like, what if you could work on your own terms? If I'm already a freelancer, then I'm maybe not thinking about that. It might be more effective, something like, what if you didn't have to work? Like, what if you could work independently, but not alone? So that speaks more to my problem. So, and then the next paragraph, so introducing your services, which in this case would be introducing the community. So what specifically do you have in the community that I'm going to get? Like when I join, what's going to happen? So you could say like, we have a Slack group, every 2 weeks, we have a workshop, every 2 weeks, we have networking, this sort of thing. So telling me exactly what I'm going to get. And then about you, you could go a bit more into the community, but you could also say, for example, having a photo of yourself, telling a little bit about the story, why you wanted to start the community, like what was the reasoning behind it? Because you do have that good, strong story there. So you might as well tell people to make that connection with them a bit more.
Got it.
Social proof. I don't know, have people from the community, we can write testimonials, stuff like that. I mean, even having
thanks for volunteering.
Photos or... Sure, why not?
It's all about us.
Yeah.
I will provide links, there's plenty of links in the bottom.
Okay,
They'll be
perfect.
visible. They will be visible this time. Okay. Clear. Those links to your sites will be visible, people. Okay.
Perfect.
Oh god, this is embarrassing. It wasn't so funny.
I don't be embarrassed.
No, it's fine.
But I
Yeah.
think this sort of thing, it's like so common and it's so easy to do it's hard to know how to structure things like if you've never done it before. So
Sure.
yeah. So and then a final call to action, which you also have a button here, but it might be an idea to make it a bit bigger, like put the button in an entire section, maybe with a different colored background, bigger. And you could also talk about, instead of just saying join the community, talk about like the benefits that I will get from joining the community, like stop feeling alone today, or like start making connections now, or something like this,
right?
Which really makes me want to jump in and join the community. Yes, so I think with your site, that's all the feedback I had so far. Do you have any questions?
Just a few things. Just
okay.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, I mean, for context, we put that website up before we ever launched anything in Slack, so it was like how to get some sort of storefront up. But this is a perfect opportunity to come back. And I really appreciate your point about kind of flipping that first thing, right? Like we're really advertising the solution, but we haven't identified that we haven't connected emotionally with their problem.
Exactly.
I come into the world, into this world more from a sales background, and that's the first thing you would do in sales. You just want to ask your customer, "What's your problem?" Right? That you just say, "Hey, what?" Not like that. Hey, what's your problem? No, but what's your pain? What's the pain that you're having today?
Yeah.
If I do anything that can help that pain, then great. Then we might have an opportunity to work together. If not, maybe I know someone who can, or whatever. But yeah, I love that point. That's a great, easy change we can make there, and just kind of emphasize the emotional connection first, and then, oh, here's the solution for you. So
exactly.
It's all great.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks,
you
Matt.
can always follow that.
Matt Irwin says we should just say, "What's your problem, man? You want to fight? You want to fight me? Let's go, fight me or join the community."
It might work.
I'm on my way.
We could just put a video of Phil at the top.
Really supportive. I'm about to get my butt kicked because you people want to fight me. Okay, thank you, Matt Irwin. I appreciate it. All right, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Kat.
You're welcome. And now I was going to look at Darren's website, if that's okay.
Sure.
Cool. So we can go through the same sort of little workshop. What is the main goal for your website?
To attract clients.
Attract clients.
Attract and qualify, I should say.
Okay. And then how is it that you want them to sign up with you or contact you or anything like that?
I do have a contact button. I have a couple of ways of contacting me. But yeah, I haven't included a button in the hero. The hero is definitely something I need to create.
So the main thing that you want them to do is fill out the contact form, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And your I help statement, I guess it's sort of this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so with the hero section, kind of the same feedback as with the Teamwrkr, that I would put, instead of this as the heading, put like a big sentence of what they want to hear that's solving their problems. So what you've written here is like grow their revenue. So you might you could say something like grow your revenue today with content strategy, or I don't know, maybe that feels a bit salesy, but something that, they want to hear that's sort of related to their problems. And then you can put this as your description underneath.
Sure.
So I would also put a button here with like contact me now, leading to the contact form, so that they instantly know how they can get in contact with you if they want to work with you.
Sure.
And with the social proof, because you have these two logos here from these clients, you can actually just take the logos and put them up at the top here. Sure. I don't know enough about the industry, but I guess like other people from your industry might recognize these logos and think like, oh, he's worked with them before, so that's good. And that creates like an instant trust, like you're credible straight away. So that's a good way to do it. Okay, the next main thing is this sort of big paragraph of text here, which, so as I was saying before, people might not even read this, even though what you've written there is really good. Like you are talking about how you are credible, you are the right person for them, but because it's in a big paragraph, you want to split it up a little bit. So you can split it up into just these 3 sections. So like the intro, the services, then the about you. So yeah, just into 3 sections, and you could be a little bit creative with the layout. So for example, how they've done in the Teamwrkr one with an image and then text to the side, and then swapped around image and text.
Sure.
For, yeah, if the introduction section is shorter, you can also just put that in the middle as like a longer paragraph, and then split these 2 into 2 separate paragraphs. I would also say when you get to the sort of about part where you're talking about yourself, you could put a photo of yourself there, so that they connect with who you are. They kind of see, you know, maybe they'll get some sense of your personality from that. Normally, I would also say in the hero section, but this image, it kind of works quite well. It fits. The headline fits in there in this nice white space. I also imagine that like with SaaS or health tech, it's slightly more corporate, maybe than small businesses. I mean, what's your opinion on that?
I definitely see a lot of freelance writers who work for tech still using their own picture. I mostly went with a stock photo because I don't love any of my pictures. I have 2 I can live with. And this one, like you said, had a lot of white space.
Yeah, so you could leave this one here if you don't like your photos, but try maybe put one of yourself here. Sure. Next to the about you section. Okay, and I know the other thing that you're asking about was it's kind of your messaging and how to do that. So I think with maybe one question would be, why do they care? So a lot of stuff that you've written here is really good to show them that you are the right person to work for that, but maybe you haven't said it in that way. Sure. So let me so for example, just taking one sentence. So you said like, I have both a biology degree and a law degree, and I've worked as a senior health policy analyst. So these are obviously things that really add to you being good at what you do. But maybe you could explain a little bit more why that is. Like at the moment, you're just kind of saying that, like, I have a biology degree. Oh, why do I care? You know, tell me why I should care about that. Like, tell me why that makes you good for that. Also with, I think, some of the language that you're using, it's very kind of nice, where maybe you could be a bit more direct. So one here, like, let me know what you're after and feel free to read about my offered services. Instead of saying, you know, that's very polite, like, let me know what you need, and then you can do this if you want, you know. Maybe try and be a bit more direct, like, I'm gonna like stop, you know, you're losing revenue, like stop losing revenue now, like read my services, like let's get in contact. Like you can't afford to waste another day without me working for you, basically. Like you can kind of create scarcity with when you're writing about it. Like if you're not calling me today, you're going to keep losing money. You're going to keep struggling with your content. So like you need to do this. Another
Darren, you could also just go with fight me as
what's your problem?
What's your problem is another one that I've been encouraged to try. I don't know. I'll let you know how it works out for me though. I mean, this has been a heck of a workshop so far. So fight me or what's your problem are 2 really popular call to actions, I think. So far. Sorry, Kat, I couldn't.
No, it's fine. I hope no one goes away and actually writes this on their website.
No, okay, full disclaimer. I'm not writing fight me or what's your problem, dude.
I am very tempted to do that. I have good 3D models of my fist. So I'm gonna literally try to animate that on my website list.
Yeah, like maybe like with I could do this, like put like really big like fake like animated boxing gloves on or something like that, and just do, hey, let's go. Oh boy,
I'm
now we're
actually
really
working on
spitting.
it right now. I'm like, let me try to make that.
Back to you. Okay, full disclaimer: do not put those type of things on your website. Back to our regular program. Kat, back to you.
Well, you can, but then just blame Phil, not me.
Full disclaimer: do not put these things on your website. Do not want to be blamed for this.
Okay, so perfect. And yeah, just with the writing, like as I said, make sure it's kind of directed at their problem. So this sentence also, like, I'm equally comfortable writing about your SaaS platform. Instead of being equally comfortable, be like, no, like I know what I'm talking about. Like I know how to do this. Like if you think from the employer's point of view, that they would want someone who like really knows their shit instead of just being comfortable, you know, like maybe just try and be a bit stronger in, you know, advertising yourself. But yeah, do you have any questions? That was
Just
the main
one.
feedback.
I used Squarespace to build this with a particular template, and I was wondering if you know of Squarespace and recommend any of their templates.
I don't use Squarespace so much, so I don't know a specific template. Are you thinking of changing the template?
I might, just to make it a little easier. Like you said, it's very monotonous, this long scroll of text.
Yeah.
It's not dynamic in any way. Yeah.
Perhaps within the template, there are other like
Sure.
page layouts. You could maybe try one of those.
And I have used
quite
WordPress in the past, so I do know it, but I wanted to go with something simple. So I chose Squarespace, which is a little more user-friendly.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend that. Like, if you don't want to spend so much time designing your website, just the easiest thing for you to use is the best platform.
Sure.
Yeah, but maybe, yeah, if you could add like, maybe like put a, emphasis to the text where the headings are, chuck an image to the right or the left, and then that, even just doing that will make it look more websitey than just like a page. So.
Sure. As opposed to a photo of someone's novel or something that they're writing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, if you do like move things around, and you can always ask me afterwards if you want me to have another look at it. So,
yeah, I'm gonna work on this right away.
Perfect.
Thank you. This was great feedback.
Oh, thank you. Okay, well, I think that's all from me. If anyone has any questions or they want to show me their website or anything.
I would love to have mine reviewed if there's time. I've shared it in chat.
Sure. Okay.
Oh wow, we got some hot seat consulting here by Kat. Here we go.
Also, Kat, if you have a spare moment to take a look at Christina's, then we're recording this anyway, so I can just send it over.
Okay, perfect. Okay, sounds good. I'll do hers afterwards. Okay. So remember the reason for the choices you make. Always purposeful vision. So I like the branding, like it's very strong, very consistent use of color, font, and everything. I guess I wouldn't know exactly what you sell, looking from the headline.
Yeah.
What is it that your business does?
So I'm a brand strategist, and while I do run a brand strategy consultancy, I do a lot of things. So this is more of a personal page for me to show all my extensions. So I want people to be able to relate to me. And then later on, I've mentioned all the different things I do if you scroll a bit further.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are your things.
Yeah.
So with a personal website, it's a little bit different, but as you said, there's not maybe one main aim. What, if you could choose one, what would it be? Like a main aim for the site, just for people to learn about you, or?
Yeah, it's mainly to learn about me, because I do a lot of things right now. I started as a strategist, but then we started doing a lot more things. So mainly I'm transitioning now into coaching and consulting further than running my agency. So yeah, more main towards, more about who they will be getting in bed with and who will they be engaging with further. So yeah.
Okay. Sorry, off the top of my head, it's hard to. So yeah, as I said, I like the branding, like it's very strong.
Okay.
I guess maybe here, when you go, I would put like the introduction to yourself a little bit higher up.
All right.
So we know who we're sort of looking at straight away. Maybe even in the having a photo of yourself at the beginning. With your name there also.
I was going to mention that, Arka, and Kat, I think that, not to jump in here, but just as like a a novice at this, I'd love to see because it's your page. Yeah. Then it's like, well, there you are. And I think that was like the first page that Kat showed with the coach, the coach that you had, I think you worked with. Yes. I think that's her actual photo, and not a stock one, maybe. But it feels like it is. It really felt like it was her, and all I says, oh wow, I'm connecting with this person. There, there's someone there, and being that this is your kind of individual page, Ark, I feel like that would be great to have that, because I love the branding with Kat. I love the dark and I guess it's almost an orange or something, a yellow orange. But your photo at the top would be, I think, would be really great. And I like that of you right there. It's like that's you. I know you well enough to know that's you. Yeah. That's how you.
Yeah, I wanted to start off with a very meaningful quote. So that's a quote I say all the time. And I keep telling people that no matter how things end up, remember the reason for the choices you made, because, we don't know how things might end up, but we always know the reason we wanted to do them. So always remember the intent. And so the emojis are actually of me as well. And just like, it's kind of like in one statement, like, remember the reasons for the choices you make. The purposeful vision of the thought disruptor is as chaotic as himself. So that's one statement that's been broken there. And then we get all into me.
Makes sense. So I would put that's cool. Huh.
Yeah.
The animation. So I would put that kind of at the top with the you can keep the quote just from maybe a UX point of view to make it a bit more is it screen friendly, or like good for the different sizes? So that when, like, if you look at maybe if I'm looking on a smaller laptop, that maybe I won't read it all. Another thing on the desktop, if you try to keep
So we have a lot of things. So this is our agency's website. So there are a lot of things. It's just one of the main things. Yeah. Hence we have such a complex menu.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. I would probably put these 6 obvious at the top, just so users don't have to click on the menu to open up and see that. And then put these parts, because these are parts of the company, right?
Yeah, these are different things that I do, that the company is paying for through me, obviously. But different things that we do. So our communities, our courses, podcast, and everything else.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, broadly, I would also follow the similar structure. So the hero, which is grabbing their attention with a photo of you and the quote, then going into a bit more, maybe you could introduce yourself first, like say who you are, and then introduce your services, which are all the things that you offer.
Yeah.
And when you kind of get here, maybe then you can go more into talking directly to your customers. So the person who needs strategy and design might be different from the coaching person. So then you can pick more into like their pain points specifically. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, otherwise, I think it looks really cool. It definitely has a personality, so that's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that Teamwrkr logo's there. That's pretty cool. You can see it on your site too. That's nice.
Oh,
Like that.
Of course, I'm gonna go with you guys to the end of it. And there's you. If you go up, you can see Phil's testimony right now.
I thought you should make it transparent though, and make it people only they have to hover over it. That's a technique I'm using to get attention.
Yeah.
Oh God, how embarrassing.
Oh, funny.
I swear it used to be purple. I swear it used to be a purple button. I swear. I don't know. All right.
So another tip, always test your website before launching.
Oh, let me jot that down.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I didn't have much time to look at Christina's website, but overall, I think what she's done is really good. Like, she's a writer, so the writing kind of fits the structure that we've talked about. You know, bringing in the problem, then saying how she is the solution and how her services can help. I would say overall on the site, there's a lot of text. There's a lot of text, and it's a little bit feels kind of out of place, like everything, it's not super consistent. So I would suggest to her, yeah, so if you see each of these sections has kind of a different design. So I would suggest to her to pick like one or two, basically one or two styles, and stick with that all the way through instead of changing each time. Yeah. But otherwise the branding looks good as well. So cool.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kat.
You're welcome.
Thank
It
you.
was
If,
fun.
if you
Super.
want to stop sharing your screen, I can also make sure that we get our Brady Bunch pick in before. But yes, do you have any final words?
Well, that's it.
No.
Other than
me
fight
or-
me,
sorry, Phil.
other than fight me. Just want to make sure. You know, it's been a really crazy.
No, but of course, if anyone has any more questions, even if your website comes out next month or something like that, you can always write me on Slack. I'm happy to help.
Kat, thank you so much for doing this. This is incredible. Great feedback,
You're
and
welcome.
I learned a ton. So I'll be
Good.
redesigning that Teamwrkr website in 4 minutes. Thank you.